I've created over 2,000 funnels across 48 different industries, and today I will show you the exact funnel you need to go from zero to over $10 million a year. I'm gonna start with a basic funnel and then slowly add onto it until I show you the entire snapshot of the sales funnel that has generated us over $25 million in sales. Now, the really nice thing about this funnel is that it starts out very simple and very basic, just like you're building the foundation of, let's say, a skyscraper. And then slowly over time, as you reach higher and higher revenue levels, you're going to need to add additional traffic sources, additional sales pages, et cetera, et cetera. So we're going to start with the foundation here. And this is something that we call the terminal point. So let's say you're at zero or anywhere between zero and roughly $10,000 a month. The first page you're always going to want to create is going to be a calendar page. Now, I know if you're watching this and a lot of my audience is already way past this, just stick with me until the end because you'll be surprised at how much of this stuff you guys are missing. So a calendar page is very simple. You can use any software out there, but essentially this is going to be what you're sending out to people when you're having that first initial conversation and you're trying to say, hey, let's work together, or I think we want to work together, et cetera, et cetera. So it's going to have your available times. It's going to have a little calendar embedded widget right here with different dates, et cetera, et cetera. Now, this is called the terminal point because no matter how big, how large, how complex our funnel gets, we are always going to send all traffic eventually to this page here. This is essentially the last step someone takes before they get on a call with our team. So whether they're coming from an Instagram DM, they're coming from Facebook ads, a low ticket funnel, your YouTube videos, all this stuff I'm going to talk about a little bit later, it's all essentially going to end up on this calendar page here. So we want to make sure we build it very simple. You just want a simple headline up top that talks about the desired, the transformation that you're going to give them. For us, we'll build you a custom done for you marketing system in the next 7 days that's booking you 5+ sales calls a day. So I'll put that at the top of that so that they know when they're booking the call, that's what they're expecting on that call. Then what we're going to do, and this is a part that I see a lot of people miss out on, even the most advanced people out there, is that we're going to have what's commonly known as a thank you page, right? And this is also a very simple page, but very important to the sales process because there's something known as framing on a sales call. And it's essentially that the prospects coming in and they already understand a little bit about what you offer and that they're coming in to potentially buy your product and service. The problem with just having a calendar page and not having a thank you page is that you could send the link out to somebody, they book a call, even if they read the headline, and they might still not really know what you do, what you offer, how you're different from your competitors, et cetera, et cetera. So then when you get on the sales call with these people, you're having to explain so much stuff in a 30-minute or 60-minute sales call. So it's way better if you can get them to understand this before they get on the sales call. So when they get on the sales call, they're more serious rather than curious, right? And so on here, typically you're going to say something like, your call is booked, and then you're going to have one video right here. Now, a lot of people put hundreds of videos on their thank you page. I can tell you beyond a shadow of a doubt, I have software on here. It's actually called Hotjar. On our thank you page, we've had probably at this point over 100,000 people visit this page. And the average time when you have like dozens of different videos on there that we saw of someone staying on that page was less than 3 seconds. When we removed all of it and just put one video on there, the average time was 7 minutes. Okay. So what happens is people land on this thank you page after they book the call and they immediately just scroll the page or see what's on the page. And if there's so much information that they have to choose what to watch or what to do, they just hop off the page immediately, right? They get overwhelmed. It's the same reason why a lot of people have, like, before the sales call, they have these emails and texts and don't forget this and say this and do this and watch this, and they get overwhelmed and then they have really high no-show rates, okay? So you want to keep it very simple. So they just booked a call to speak with you, and then you say, great, all you have to do is watch this one video before we get on the call, right? And that one video, we call it the overview video, but it's essentially going to be walking through like, hey, you just booked a call to speak with us, and we're super excited to talk. But before you get on the call, you need to know how our system works and what makes us different. And then you kind of go through, it's almost like a mini video sales letter, which I'll talk about in the future, but it's very simple, okay? Don't worry too much about having a high production and insanely good. You're just trying to get them to watch something for 10 to 15 minutes, and that 10 to 15 minutes can have huge impacts on your sales cycle length, how much people trust you when they get on the sales call, call, how much they know already, how much cash you're going to pay up front, et cetera, right? So a very simple video on the thank you page. Now, let me actually move this around a little bit. I'm going to make this a little bit smaller. Hopefully you guys can still see this. After someone visits the thank you page, then obviously they're going to have the sales call, and then obviously they are going to close. Now, I'm going to go more in depth going left here on the funnel about how we drive more people to the calendar, et cetera. I can make another video on like what happens after people book a sales call, why I don't believe in 2-call closes, et cetera. You guys just let me know down below if you want me to do that. But that's the simple sales process. So this right here, calendar with a headline and a little booking widget, a thank you video, a thank you page with a thank you video on it. That's it, 10 to 15 minutes explaining your video, then getting on the call and closing them. That can easily take you to $100,000 a year. Okay, so if you're watching this video and you have you got multiple different pages and funnels and things, I'm telling you right now, it's probably too complex. Okay, because very likely if you're selling some kind of high ticket product or service, let's say it's $3,000 a month or $3,000 for the total ticket price, you just need 3 of those roughly in order to make $10,000 a month. So most people like to complicate things and confuse things, but you just want to keep it this simple. The other reason why I like this simplicity here is because very early on what happens is you think you know your market and you think you know what you should be selling, when in reality it's absolutely not what you should be selling. So a lot of people end up building all these funnel pages over here and ads and all this stuff, and they're trying to drive them to book a call, but the problem is you haven't even gotten enough sales calls yet to even know what you're selling. Is that what people want? Is that their like painful, is that the problem that they actually have? Is that what they really desire? How are they wording it? All of these things. And so you're just guessing or you're copying somebody else. So my huge recommendation is you start with this and you're doing this from $0 to $10,000 and you're just doing anything you can to drive people to this calendar. So this could be you're sending direct messages, DMs to this calendar. You could be posting on your Facebook and Instagram page saying, hey, go to this link here. You could be sending cold emails. You could be even running ads. All of this stuff is your YouTube videos. All of these things are going to be directly going to this calendar page here. Very simple, very easy to do. Like I said before, I won't go too in depth on it, but there's definitely should be some kind of email and text sequence here that you send to people before they actually show up to the call. Now, once again, for us, the majority of the time, this email and text sequence is just driving back and trying to get them to watch that thank you page video. Also, what we do is we also try to start a conversation with the salesperson they're getting on a call with. We've noticed that if we can get them to respond back, first of all, the show up rate skyrockets. We actually did the analysis, and if somebody responds back to the first message we send them after they book a call, it is a 98% show up rate out of tens of thousands of sales calls. Okay, so we always try to get them just to respond back, and we also notice that those that respond back also are more likely to close and pay higher cash up front. So we're sending them open-ended questions. We're having a conversation. We're reviewing their application, et cetera. And so these are all the things that we're doing in order to increase show up rate and increase close rate, but we're keeping it as simple as humanly possible. So I'm not asking them 50 questions. I'm not sending them 20 different videos. It's all essentially the same video that we're sending them to, and we're asking one question in the email sequence. Okay, so that is that's the basic funnel. Now, I will talk about here, I can do a whole different video about it. On the calendar, over time, what's going to happen is, like, in the very beginning, you want to have as little friction as possible, meaning you want to make it as easily as humanly possible for someone to book a call to speak with you, because you don't even know what your qualifier should be and what your qualifier shouldn't be. But if you're doing this correctly and you're actually spending the majority of your time trying to send as many people to that terminal point, that calendar page as possible, you're eventually going to start getting on calls where you're like, wow, I just wasted 60 minutes of my time. This person's not qualified. There's no way they're going to work with me. They're not even my dream client. And you'll start to, as you start closing deals, you'll start to realize who your dream client is. And so what we want to do is start adding in calendar questions. So there's always the typical ones, which is name, email, phone number, right? These are the really basic ones. And then over time, as you get a better understanding, you're going to add in some additional questions here. Now, the things that I love to do is adding in multiple choices. So multiple choice number 1, multiple choice number 2. What a lot of people I see do is they make people create a full essay before they get on the sales call with them. So they're like, oh, I only want, and if you let your sales team run this part, then you'll be wonder. It's going to be this dichotomy where they're like, I want more sales calls, but they only want the people to book the sales call to be 10 out of 10 on their ready to buy scale, right? So you need to understand that there's nothing wrong with what they're saying, but that's what they're incentivized to do, right? To try to get as many calls as possible and try to have all of those calls close. And so you as the marketing person, or you as a CEO needs to understand that, okay, there's like, it's not a black and white thing. It's more of a sliding scale. So we want to figure out, okay, what is the amount of friction that we can get enough information to know if this person's qualified and worth our time, but not so much information that our conversion rate of people that are landing on this calendar page here is so low. So for me, that typically is 2 multiple choice questions where we're asking stuff like, how much monthly revenue are you doing? Or, what's your age? Or do you have this much money to invest into your health or something along those lines? Just very simple, straight to the point questions. A lot of people also try to hide the intent. So they're like trying to see if they can afford the services, or they're trying to see, they're asking the question, making it confusing. For example, for us, we only work with coaches, consultants, agencies, and service providers. So the first question after naming a phone number is, are you a coach, consultant, agency, or service provider? Yes or no? And it says, if no, leave the page immediately. So I'm just not wasting anyone's time that way, okay? So make sure you're adding in these multiple choice questions as you start to scale and drive more traffic so that you can better protect your time or your salesperson's time. Every once in a while, you can add a short answer question. Now, I'm not the biggest fan of short answer questions because anytime you have to have somebody think too hard, it is really good to get really qualified people who give longer form answers. But the problem with that is that they have to think. And when people have to think, they want to hop off, right? A lot of people are booking this call while they're driving, while they're on the toilet, while they're walking their dog. And so it's like, oh, now I got to type this whole thing out. Instead, what we've noticed works a little bit better is we let them book. And then in between the booking and the sales call, then we try to do the additional qualification through these kind of communications that we're sending out to them, just to make sure that we're not wasting anyone's time, both our time and their time. Okay. So like I said, this will get you to $0 to about $10,000 a month. Now, and I'm going to talk about traffic at the very end. I promise you, I'm going to talk about traffic. Don't worry about it. This is more about sales funnels. Okay, so let's say you're at $10,000 a month. Now you're sending this link out to everybody. You're running ads to it, whatever else it is, and you're starting to notice that like 50% of the people that come on the call, even though you have this thank you page video right here, they're still like a little bit like, yeah, I kind of understand what you do, but like, I don't fully understand it. And they're more curious than serious, and they don't have a lot of intent, and they're not that qualified, right? So what's the next page that you need to create? Well, the next page that you need to create is going to be the infamous video sales letter. Once again, people will tell you that video sales letters are dead, whatever else it is, but it's just fundamental sales and marketing psychology. There's just no way that this will ever be quote unquote dead. Same people that say email's dead and it still generates us millions of dollars a year, right? So the thing you don't understand is that most of these pages, most of the things I'm telling you here, they are just basic human psychology that have translated into sales pages or funnel pages. Okay. So there's just anybody that's telling you that sales funnels are dead or whatever else it is, it's impossible because human psychology is not dead. So just as a quick little caveat to that. Now, like I said, the next page is going to be the video sales letter. So let me write that out here. Video sales letter. I'm sorry that my handwriting is not the best. Okay, so video sales letter. Now, I do have a separate YouTube video. I think it's called, I built like 2,200 sales landing pages, something like that, that I go insane depth on a video sales letter. What's included inside of it, I break down our video sales letter, all of that stuff. So I would recommend watching that video after you're done watching this video. So I'm not going to go too in depth on it here, but the video sales letter page is going to be saying stuff similar to the calendar page, but you're going to be doing a little bit more selling. Right? So at this point, $10,000 a month, you can start to be a little bit more choosy with who you're getting on the calendar with. And if anything, let's say you haven't hired a salesperson yet, which you shouldn't be at $10,000 a month, you need to be more choosy and you need to add a little bit more friction with who you get on the calendar with, because you only have, let's say, 8 hours a day to take sales calls. And that's pretty generous, because if you think about it, you probably need to also do fulfillment, and you need to have a life, and you need to do other stuff. So let's say it's 6 hours a day to take sales calls if you're doing it by yourself. And let's say you have like an 80% show up rate. So now you're down to maybe 5 or 4 people that show up to the sales call. And if you're dealing with this basic funnel, just the calendar to the thank you page, then you have all these maybe unqualified people that are getting on the call that don't really know a whole lot about you yet. And so really, out of, let's say, 4 people that get on the call, 1 of them really is like eager and has a lot of intent. And that's why you see a really low close rate in the very beginning when you're doing this. And that's okay. That is okay, because you don't know enough information to take down the next stage. But after you reach $10,000 a month, you should be looking at creating something like a video sales letter. And the video sales letter can be a few different things. The most basic version is going to be a headline at the top. We actually like to break it down between a pre-headline, a headline, and a sub-headline. So the pre-headline is always something calling out the audience. So for us, it's like attention, coaches, consultants, agencies, and online service providers, right? So then it's like as soon as they land on that page, that's the first thing they see. If they're not that person, then they hop off the page. The next thing they're going to see is the headline. This is the big transformational promise. So learn how we will build you a done-for-you end-to-end custom marketing system in the next 7 days that's booking you 5+ sales calls a day, right? So that's our big promise. And then the sub headline beneath that is kind of like immediately, what are they thinking as soon as I make that claim? Oh, I probably got to spend all this money on ads. I probably got to shoot all this content. And so then that sub headline below it is doing the without. So, but without these things here that you're afraid of, that you don't want, right? And so you're saying it's essentially like, even if they just read that little script right there, it's actually really similar to what should be on your calendar page. It's really pre-framing them correctly to go on and book a call to speak with you. So attention, this person here, we can do this thing for you here without this thing that you don't like. That's the headline up top. And then you have the video as part of the video sales letter. And that is the kind of a longer version of how you're expanding upon that pre-headline, headline, and sub-headline. I'll do a separate video if you guys want me to as well, to break down our entire video sales letter formula. I've written over 1,000 video sales letters at this point. That's what we do for our clients. We write their video sales letter for them and made it tens of millions of dollars in sales for our own company. So I have a good idea of what works and what doesn't work. I've also studied some of the best ones out there, but this is typically going to be anywhere between a 5 and let's say a 20 to 30 minute video. And you're just doing a little bit more pre-selling. You're doing a little bit more intent building. You're doing a little bit more pain building, because what you really want to do, and I guess I'll just take an aside here if you guys will let me really quick, is you really want to create this gap for people, right? And this gap is essentially going to be where they're currently at, pain, to where they want to be, desire, and you want your product or service to be shown as a solution. That is literally the most basic version of what a great video sales letter will do. It will identify and really agitate this pain. It'll show them what can be the desire, and then it shows you that your service or solution is the only way they can get there, right? Your unique mechanism, the way that you would do it. So for a great example here, let's say that I could run a video sales letter for men looking to get in shape. I could like start the video sales letter by being like, are you tired of not being able to see your toes? Are you tired of people staring at you as you go out? Are you tired of being single and lonely and depressed, right? So I know it's like aggressive, but that's what it is. You're really trying to agitate that pain. Also, what you want to do is you want to turn away people that are not experiencing that pain, because if they're not experiencing that pain, then they're not going to be, if someone's not experiencing enough pain, they're not going to be able to close in the sales call. They have to feel the pain to close in the sales call. When you get on that call and you say, yeah, it's $3,000, it's $5,000, it's $10,000, and they go, like, yeah, I'll let me think about it. Let me think about it. There's not enough pain. There is not enough pain. I'll give you a great example. I moved in here to my new house, actually our dream house here in Miami Beach, just last week. And it's a very long story, but essentially I had to do 2 days of moving. And the second day, so I had to pay these movers twice. And they gave me, when I moved it the first day, they're like, hey, we have to come back tomorrow. And then when he came back the second day, he was like, look, there's 2 things we can do here. We can just drop everything off right here, or I can unload, unpack, and everything for you. Here's the different prices. Now, I knew that, like, okay, I could technically unpack everything myself, and so that's why he gave me that option there. But I already was like standing in the room looking at all these boxes everywhere, and I was like, yeah, there's no way I'm going to do this this cheap way of alternative of just unpacking it myself. And so I said, you know what, I'll just pay you this extra amount of money, which is significantly higher than the original amount, because I was in such pain. I was already exhausted from the first day of moving. I was leaving the next day to go to Colombia, and we had just moved to this house, and what do I want to do? I just want to relax, right? So I was in this agitated pain state, and the movers were able to kind of somewhat take advantage of it. I'm not saying they did anything wrong, but I'm saying that they were like, look, you already aren't happy right here. What if I just took care of this whole thing for you? And so I was like, yeah, let me pay you. And I paid that amount. So the video sales letter, you're essentially doing one of 2 things. You're either identifying the pain that somebody already has, or you're creating the pain. And if you think this stuff is unethical, whatever else it is, then hop off this video, but this is just what marketing is. So you almost have to create problems in that person's life for them to be able, like, they might not even know, like, oh yeah, I guess I am really kind of this lonely or single, or I guess I really haven't had a girlfriend in a lot of years. So you're creating that pain that they didn't even think they had in the first place. So that's the pain. And then after that, you say you're transitioning to the desire. And then you're saying, yeah, okay, so you can't see your toes, blah, blah, blah. But what if you could But what if you could lose, I don't know, 20 pounds in the next 60 days? What if you could walk into a bar and people were staring at you because of how good you looked? What if you had girls that were hitting you up on a daily basis in the DMs because they couldn't wait to be with you? What if you could be like an alpha male and other guys would be like hitting you in the DMs as well, being like, hey, what's your workout routine, right? All these things, which by the way, you identified from this process here. It would be impossible to write this video sales letter if you didn't already have the pain points and desires that people were telling you on the sales call. And when you had this original 0 to 10K like growth spurt, when you did 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80 calls, you're using that to paint that desirable picture. And then you kind of position your solution, your unique mechanism as a way to get there. Well, you've probably tried all these different things in the past. Well, this is different. This is, the P90X, and this is how it's going to work for you. And that's essentially what a video sales letter is. So I know that was a little bit of an aside, but that you're painting them and you're positioning yourself as the solution to the pain that they have to get to the desire that they want to get. Or you can even create that pain and desire that they don't even know that they have yet, right? And so the benefit of that, having this video sales letter page, is that you're doing this before they book the sales call. So you have more time, more exposure, more opportunity to create pain and urgency and really see your solution as a solution they need. And so I always say a really great video sales letter is when they get on this call, is when they're saying, I want, insert your solution right here. I want the P90X. I want the self-sustaining funnel. I want whatever else is your unique mechanism. You're saying that here in the video sales letter, and when they're saying it on the call, that's when you know you're going to have a close. 10 times out of 10, you're going to have a close, okay? Because they've consumed the content, they've bought in, and the sales call is 100 times easier, okay? But if there's a correct order of operations, you can't even don't even shortcut it. Don't even think you can begin to create a video sales letter and the sales copy and all that stuff until you have done this work here. And the other important thing to note here is that if you don't take Ravi's advice, and if you do go try to create a video sales letter, and you're like, okay, well, what's the harm in that? Well, the harm in that is that if you start driving traffic to this video sales letter, well, what happens is if you're not hitting the correct pain points, if you don't structure the video sales letter correctly, if you haven't done your research and you know what you're doing, then you could actually create a huge wall in between somebody that wants to speak with you and somebody that's going to end up speaking with you. So they could have all this interest and curiosity from your organic content, from your paid ads, whatever else it is, but then they land on that page and immediately there's a disconnect. They're like, oh wait, this is not really what I thought it was going to be, and this is like, no, I don't want this, and so they're hopping off the page. And so there's just this huge wall that's repelling people from getting over into booking a call to speak with you, which is why we don't even take that risk, and we at the very beginning send people straight to the calendar page, and then once we actually validate it, then we move backwards to the video sales letter page. Okay, so we went from 0 to 10K a month at the calendar. The video sales letter, in full transparency, can take you from 0 to $1 million a month. I've seen that multiple times happen before. In reality, what'll typically happen is it'll take you around to, like, let's say $300,000 a month is like a really good number that this will take you to. But that still puts you in the top 4% of businesses in the United States. So you're still going to be really cranking out money here. And a lot of people are like, oh, I've tried video sales letters, they haven't worked. Once again, you're structuring the video sales letter wrong. It is human psychology. It's impossible for it not to work, right? So marketing and advertising always works. You just have to make the unit economics work out. And I guess I might end this video by kind of walking through some of the numbers if you were to venture run paid ads and what the KPIs for this whole thing should look like, right? So I'm going to try to keep this on the lower end, just so I can kind of show you guys everything that's out there. But that's the video sales letter page. Okay, so this is like I said, let's say from 10K a month to $200,000 to $300,000 a month, you can have this really optimized. Now, I will say, once you start scaling, let's say past $80,000 a month or $100,000 a month, you can add in appointment setters. Now, if you don't know what appointment setters are, it's essentially like outbound people that pick up the phone and they call your leads that don't book the call. And they say, hey, I saw you didn't book a call, or hey, you didn't show up for the call. Let's get you back on the calendar. And so a really great appointment setting team, it can 6x the conversion of a sales funnel. What a lot of people do, though, a big mistake they make, is that they rely on the appointment setting team to make a sales funnel work. Never do that. Never, never, never. I can't tell you how many clients come to me And I actually just a client the other day, he's doing about $250,000 a month, but his take home is less than $40,000 a month. And the reason why is because 90% of his sales come from appointment setters. And so when you have that, you have almost no self bookings. So nobody's going through your funnel and booking on their own, which means that you're getting a lot of people that are coming on, and you're having every single time you close a deal, you have to have human beings there. So it's like, okay, we got a lead. Now the appointment center has to call them. Then they get on the call. And then the problem with human beings is they're unreliable. They get sick, you fire them, they quit. And so now your revenue is like a roller coaster, right? And in addition to that, now you have to add on a 5% revenue, which is, let's say you're running at a 50% margin. That's 10% of profit you're giving out just to the appointment center, not the salesperson, not your sales team lead, not anybody else, literally just to the appointment center. Okay. So that's why you don't want to be 90% relying on appointment centers, 10%. It really should be more like, let's say 50-50 or 60-40 going either way. Okay. That's a really good appointment setting team in my experience. Okay. And if you're at like 80-10 or 80-20, the opposite way, meaning 20% appointment setters, 80% from self-booking, then you might want to actually try to work on your appointment setters more, because that's a huge opportunity for you to get more bookings on the calendar. So that brings it up the next point, which is, okay, well, how do they get leads in the first place? Well, you're going to want an opt-in page. Okay. So the opt-in page, once again, we're not adding from 0 to 10K, and we're maybe not even adding from 10 to 50 or 10 to 80K, because you don't want to be hiring a full appointment setting team before you have the basics down, for all the reasons I just said there. But once you do have an appointment setting team, well, now it starts to make sense to start to capture people's information. You can also start to build an email list and stuff like I'll talk about here in a little bit. So we'll put a headline up here. It's actually going to be the exact same headline. If you go through my sales funnels, it's the exact same headline from the opt-in page, the video sales letter page, to the calendar page. That's called congruency, and I talk about that in a bunch of my other videos. So opt-in page here. Now it's really funny because I see a lot of people when I look at opt-in pages, even my clients that come to me, and they have like a huge amount of information on the opt-in page. It's almost like their opt-in page is a video sales letter. That should never be the case. It should be pre-headline, headline, sub-headline, maybe an image, a GIF or something like that, and a button that has a pop-up to give you your name, email, phone number. Okay. Anything more than that, you can split test it for sure, but I always see the more I add on the opt-in page, the lower the conversion rate is to go to the video sales layer. And once again, what happens is you could just be repelling people away from getting to the next step in your funnel. That's why we're always building this from end from the backwards to forwards, from a closed deal to a calendar to a video sales letter. Okay, this is working. Now let's add the opt-in in here, because now what happens is we start to get name, email, phone number, right? So I'll put this here: name, email, phone, right? And then we can start having the appointment setters try to outbound dial them and try to set them on the calendar. So I'll put appointment setters, try to outbound dial them. And like I said, that could be a huge lift, a 20%, 50%, 60% lift on the number of bookings that you're getting by adding the opt-in page. So that's really beneficial. Also, the other big thing is that you can start doing email sequences, right? So you're going to put emails here, emails here, emails here, emails here, and even text blast, which we do as well. And this is going to take people from the opt-in page and it's going to send them right to the calendar page. Now, you can also send them to the video sales letter, but this is, we're getting a little bit nuanced and more advanced, but I know I have a lot of advanced people that watch me. A lot of our emails, we actually don't send them to the video sales letter page, only because if you really think about it, they already visited the video. So once they opt in, they're immediately redirected to the video sales letter page. And so if they didn't book a call, and that's why you're emailing them to try to get them to book a call, then there was something on the video sales letter page that didn't resonate with them. And so the nice thing about doing like daily emails to your list or a newsletter is that you can hit on different pain points that maybe wasn't covered in your video sales letter or was covered later on in your video sales letter, they didn't get to it. And so you can hit them on a point where like, yes, okay, this is what I need. So it's almost like every email is a little mini video sales letter, if you think about it, or a mini sales letter. And I can't tell you how much, for us, emails account for 1/4 of our deals every single month. Doing this thing I'm telling you right now, we send 5 emails a week, and when we send those out, people book a call, they get on the call, they close, right? And so some people have been on the email list for 3 months, 6 months, 9 months, 12 months, and so I don't want to send them to the same video sales letter page over and over. I'm just trying to get them to book a call to speak with us, because as soon as we get on the call, we can take it from there, okay? So we're going to be sending them emails. You can even do email automation. These are all, this whole thing we built out for our clients. You can do email automation where it's like, we call it a new subscriber sequence. As soon as they opt in, we have a 5 email automation that over the next 3 days that warms them up. It lets them know who you are, what makes you different, your background story, and some of the content. We send them to different platforms and channels, like maybe if you're YouTube or your Instagram or your LinkedIn, so that they can like start to follow you there, and that organic re-nurturing gets them more bought into you. And so eventually becomes like a little bit of a spider web, and they book a call to speak with you, right? So email is another big point of it. So between email and appointment setters, you could double your business without having to change anything, just by adding the opt-in page. But remember, we're not adding the opt-in page until it's time, right? So let's say we're at 50 to 80K a month. We add in the email and the appointment setters, and now we're easily at $200,000 a month. I say easily. I know it's not easy to get $200,000 a month, but you get the idea, okay? So this is this funnel can 100% get you to $1 million a month. At least $500,000 a month. I'm going to keep everything on the low end so I can keep on. I know you guys are like fiending for the more complex stuff. Even though I'm telling you that this can get you to $1 million a month, everyone else is here is like, oh, I've tried the video sales letter. Let me do this other crazy new thing over here that I've never tried before. Okay. So this is where we're at on the funnel so far. So hopefully you guys can still see this. I'm going to make this even smaller as I keep on kind of jiving over here. Okay, so the next step from here, let's say we're at $200,000 a month to $300,000 a month. What do we do? Well, you have a few options at this point, okay? I think, in my opinion, the most basic way to do this is to start to create additional entry points. So we've learned at this point that we have appointment setting team that's converting. We have emails that are converting as well. Our video sales letter is definitely convincing people to book a call and speak with us. And so like we know that those things are working. The problem is that everybody's seen this opt-in page already. We've sent everybody to it. Everybody and their mother in the market, our warm email list. Everybody else has seen it. So what are our other options? Well, the other options is you create new entry points. So a new entry point, a great example of that would be a lead magnet. Okay, so a lead magnet, let me put it over here. We'll put a lead magnet right here. Lead magnet. A lead magnet is very obvious. I'm not going to go too deep into a lead magnet. It's the exact same thing as an opt-in page, except for in an opt-in page, what they're getting access to is the video sales letter, that training on the next page, a case study. A lead magnet is where you are going to give them something that's, you're going to send an email to them. That's not what's on the next page. So a great example of that would be, if you look at any of my YouTube videos, I have hundreds of lead magnets there, and it's like, hey, if you want our best converting Facebook ads, if you want the Google Doc that I talk about in this video, whatever else, you could make a lead magnet of literally anything just to get somebody's name, email, phone number. It's an exchange of value. So it's the same way. It's the same way someone would make a purchase from you if they believe that what you have is valuable enough. So here's a credit card. They need to know that whatever you have is valuable enough for the lead magnet. So here's my contact information. People protect their contact information as much as they would protect their credit card. Okay, so you want to make sure that whatever you're offering is very valuable. The other quick little side note about lead magnets is that you will, just like the world in the mirror, you will get what you put out there. So if you put out, this is a really great example. We used to have a bunch of content around like how to start from zero, how to start a business, et cetera, et cetera. And in full transparency, while we definitely can help those people, that's not who we want booking calls on our calendar, because we help people that mostly already have an established business. And so for us, I don't want to be creating videos all the time. I used to create videos on like, here's the best business ideas to start and how to start from zero. And then I would do these lead magnets. And then of course, all the people that I would get from that video would be, people that are starting from zero, not my ideal client. So if you want a really great example of the other version of this is we have a product called Show Up Secrets. It's how we doubled our show up rate from 40% to 80% in 30 days. And it's like a full little course that we have for people. And so I put that out there. And the only people that are having show up rate issues are people that already are decently having a business. Like if you aren't making any money, then you don't have show up rate issues. Okay. So that's a great example of a good lead magnet. So a lead magnet is a new opt-in. It's a new entry point for people to come. And here's a little secret sauce for you, right? So there's two things that happen. First of all, well, actually there's three things that happen. Hopefully this is, like I told you, this is going to get more and more confusing as we go through this. So the lead magnet does a few things. The first thing it's going to do is it's going to capture people's information that maybe they wouldn't have captured from your original opt-in page for whatever reason. So it's a really great way to get people that you wouldn't have gotten before. Second of all, the lead magnet gets a name, email, phone number, so you can start sending emails to them. And we already know the emails eventually send people to the calendar that gets them on the call with you. The third thing that'll happen is we get the name, email, phone number, we give them to our appointment setters, and they start the conversation, and we know that eventually gets people to the calendar. So that's why we're building things one by one, right? Now, the other thing that I love to do, and a huge mistake that I see other people make, is when people offer a lead magnet in a funnel, they say, okay, you want this lead magnet, and then they give them the information. They say, here's the lead magnet. Here you go. And that is called closing the loop. And you never want to close a loop in a sales funnel, because when you close a loop, it's done. It's finito. The fat lady has sung. They're going to hop off. They're going to go back to whatever else they're doing. You want to keep them in your funnel for as long as possible. You want to keep them consuming your content, learning from you, so that they can eventually book a call and buy your stuff. And so what we do is in our funnels, we'll have them opt in the lead magnet, and then we take them to the video sales letter page. We already know the video sales letter converts, and it is a little bit of a context switch, because they're like, oh, I want this free Facebook course. Oh wait, what are you saying right here, that I can work with you? So it definitely is a little bit of a context switch. There's no doubt about it, and that's why we put a little bit of a headline at the top of the page, and it says, wait, right? We're about to send your resource over to you, but first check out the special offer we have for people that get this lead magnet. And then they go down and they look at the video sales letter. And so it's a perfect transition, because just like the pre-headline, it's the first thing they see before they go down to the rest of the page, and it gets them to watch potentially the video sales letter. And we say, wait, we're going to send it to you. So I'm not giving it to them on the thank you page. We're going to send it to them separately. And so it keeps the loop open for them to continue consuming that content. And I already know that people that visit the video sales letter page eventually book a call to speak with myself or my team. So I'm just sending more people to the video sales letter page, which eventually sends more people to the calendar page, which is that terminal point I talked about previously, which gets people to buy our products and services. Okay, so that's the basic breakdown of a lead magnet, and this is really, really good. And if you think about it as well, like every YouTube video is a lead magnet for me. Like even if I don't say, hey, here's this lead magnet below, the video itself is like capturing people's attention or whatever, and then in the video I can say, hey, if you want us to build this entire system for you, done for you end to end, custom, in the next 7 days, go down below and book a call to speak with us, right? So if you want us to build this entire system for you, custom, done for you end to end in the next 7 days, go down below and book a call to speak with us. So this is kind of a lead magnet in and of itself. I'm saying, hey, here's how to build a sales funnel. And so that's attracting the right people that want to build sales funnels. And then I'm saying we can do it for you better, faster, cheaper, and then come down below and do it, right? So that's just go a little bit more advanced. Okay, so that's a new entry point. So this is how you start to really increase the velocity of sales that you're getting, and also diversify your traffic sources. And like I said, I'm gonna end this on traffic sources, because this is all the stuff. This is a video on sales funnels, not on traffic sources, but this allows you to start to collect name, email, phone numbers from people that you wouldn't otherwise. Because let me drive this final point home on lead magnets, then I'll move forward. If I was driving every single person I ever met to this opt-in page right here, from whatever traffic source it is, well, like I told you previously, eventually a lot of people are going to see it and they're going to not want to opt in. They didn't make them opt in the first time. But second of all, there's going to be like, hey, here's this video on sales funnels, and then, oh, if you want to work with us, go down below and book a call to speak with us. Now, the issue with that, the problem with that is that that's only going to be 2% of you or 3% of you that's watching this video. So I'm giving all this value, like however long this video ends up being, 45 minutes, an hour, something like that, of my time, and I only get 2% of you. So what if instead I captured more of that value by saying, hey, if you want to get our entire snapshot of our whole sales funnel, so you can just copy and paste it in your business, go down below and you can get that just by getting your name, email, phone number. Well, now probably the opposite, 98% of you are going to want to get that thing. And so now I'm capturing way more leads, and then I can use my emails, my video sales letters, and my appointment setters to eventually convert you into a qualified book call on our calendar, right? Or speaking with our sales team. So because there's way more cohesiveness and congruency between the what the thing that's attracting them in the first place, a video on sales funnels and what I'm giving them, a snapshot of the best sales funnel we've ever had, there's going to be way more take rate on that than if I just said, hey, if you want to work with me, go down below. So that's the benefit of it. But once again, in the very beginning, even at $100,000 a month, just drive them all to the opt-in page. Makes things way easier. But we have an email list in the hundreds of thousands because we have hundreds of lead magnets out there on different YouTube videos, on Instagram, on different places. And so every day that brings in all of these leads, whether I'm running paid ads or not. Okay. So that's lead magnets. Let's say that doubles your business. Again, we're at 400,000. At this point, you could be well over $1 million a month, but I'm just keeping it simple. So let's say you're at $400,000 a month. You got a really robust sales funnel going on right here. We're capturing people's information. We have appointment setters. We have emails. We're running at a really high profit margin. And after $400,000 a month, like even after $200,000 a month, what's eventually going to happen is, and this is exactly what happened to me with one of my portfolio companies, the main driver of a lot of this stuff is going to be ads. Okay, so it's really hard, in my opinion, to get to $400,000, $500,000 a month without paid ads in some form or the other. Now, it's definitely not impossible. We generate hundreds of thousands of dollars a month organically. So I don't know if it's exactly $500,000 a month, but it's definitely a lot organically. So there's no doubt that it can be done, but you have to keep in mind, I've had a YouTube channel for 4 years now. I have 11 videos up there. I'm probably in the top, let's say, just to be not an asshole, top 10% of creators making money from their YouTube channel with a business. So like, I know what I'm doing with this. But if you just want to kind of shortcut the process, then paid ads is definitely going to be one of the best ways you do it. And so let's go back here and let's say ads. What's going to be happening is going to be running ads mostly to that opt-in page. So, hey, do you want this free training that I cover this case study, blah, blah, blah. It has the same headline that's on the opt-in, that's on the video sales, that's on the calendar, that's on the thank you, that's on the call, that's on the close. And we're just getting name, email, phone number. A certain percentage of people are booking, certain percentage of people are going through email, certain percentage of people are going through the appointment setters. And we're really starting to we're have a predictable system where we're putting $1 in, we're getting $3 out, $4 out, $5 out within 30 days. Okay, that's how most people are going to scale. Now, what happens is that as you really start hitting scale, so let me give you an example. One of my portfolio companies, we were, I think, around $450,000, $500,000 a month. What was happening was that we had a 3x cash return on investment within 30 days, which is really good at that scale. There's no doubt about it. So we were putting in like over $100,000 a month in ad spend, and we were getting it back out like the $300,000 to $400,000 range in the next 30 days. But the problem is that when you are putting in that amount of ad spend, what happens is there is this little bit of a gap, right? So let's say we put the ad spend in here and we get paid here. Well, this gap right here, this could be anywhere from 7 days to 30 days to 45 days to 60 days. The problem is that gap, every single day, you have, $3,000, $3,000, $3,000, three, all leaving your bank account every day, whether you close deals or not. So you have to trust, you have to have the data, the tracking, the systems to know, okay, even though this week I spent $40,000 in ads, I know that within 4 weeks, I'm going to see back $120,000. But nonetheless, you just spent $40,000. And what if, because you're still relying on salespeople, you're still relying on human beings that make mistakes, people quit, they're underperforming. What if they underperform? Or all you need is like 2 or 3 down months, and all of a sudden you're kind of, all the wealth that you just created is starting to be eroded away. And so what you do, what I can talk about here in a second, is you kind of take some of the chips off the table. You try to liquidate your ad spend way faster, so that way you're able to at least have some kind of buffer between what you're paying and what you're getting back, and you increase. It's called a cash cycle. So one indicator of how successful a business is how quickly they can turn over capital. So if every month I'm spending $100,000 and making $400,000 back within 30 days, that's actually really great, to be honest with you. That's compare that to the S&P 500. But as you get to eventually you're starting to scale like we were, and you want to do $200,000 or $300,000 a month, well, now you're talking about, like, let's say 20 grand a day eventually when you get to $600,000 a month in ad spend, which we've been there before. And so that's, I don't care how how diamond hands you are, that's kind of scary. And so you're outlaying all that capital and you're waiting for it to come back in 30 days. Well, what if you could take back and you spend 20 grand in a day, but you make back 15 grand, or you even just make back 10 grand? Well, now you're starting to protect your margin. So even if the sales team underperforms, even if something doesn't work, now you're starting to keep it so that, okay, even if all this stuff exploded, at least I'm only losing 50% of this income versus 100% of this income. Okay. And so that's where low ticket products come into play. Now, I have a different video called How to Make Millions of Dollars from Low Ticket Products, where I break down an entire low ticket funnel. And in that video, I said the exact same thing that I'm saying here, which is that don't even think about getting into the low ticket world until you are past at least $100,000 a month. I can't tell you how many people, especially since with this school games craze or whatever, they think that they're going to make $500,000 a month or $1 million a month from the low ticket product. I've never seen it done unless you're in the SaaS world, or if you're one of the top 3 companies like Mind Valley or Masterclass, which Masterclass has never been profitable. So, like, do you want to be a non-profitable company? But there's a few companies that have done it, like Mind Valley and maybe 1 or 2 others. But the point being that that you can use low ticket products, but when you're starting to spend a lot of money. So I'm not going to break down a full video on low ticket funnels because, like I said, I have another one on it already. But what would happen is essentially, instead of running the ads to let me erase all this. Instead of running the ads to the video sales letter page, what happens is you start to run the ads to a low ticket funnel. So we put the ads here. We go here and we go to a long form sales page, video sales letter. It's actually very similar to the video sales letter page. Boom, 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 image, image, image. You get the idea. And we then send them to a checkout page. Let me see, video. I'll just put, video sales. Well, I'll put sales page. Checkout page. Right. There's an order form here. Pay. Okay. So now we're starting to sell stuff for, let's say, anywhere from $1 to $97 up front, okay, on that sales page. And now we're starting to liquidate some of this cash. And so now it becomes a little bit easier to scale with some of the ad spend we're doing. Also, I have a video inside of my membership site, Scale in School, where I actually break down that portfolio company I had with over $400,000 in ad spend on a call funnel, which is this funnel here. And I compared it to $400,000 in ad spend on a low ticket funnel, which is this funnel here. The low ticket funnel beat out the call funnel in literally every single metric. In the show up rate for the sales calls, in the close rate for the sales calls, in the cash per close, in the return on investment for the cash and return on investment for the revenue, in the delinquency rate, all that stuff. So that, just to summarize that all, having spent $800,000 just for that one split test, just to summarize that for you, the low ticket, if you can get people that buy stuff from you, it will produce better people 10 times out of 10 than a call funnel will. The only problem is that it is a unbelievable amount of work to get a low ticket funnel up and running. Unbelievable. You wouldn't even, there's no way you could understand how much work is involved, because people think, oh, I'll just like make the sales page, I'm making sales. But the problem is, you don't understand, is now you're starting to get purchasers. And when you get purchasers, people are expecting a lot. So now maybe you're offering onboarding calls. Maybe you're offering this access to the digital product. What if they don't get access to the product? What if they want refunds? What if people start charging you back? And all of a sudden, for us, we were getting thousands of purchases a month. And so like that was, now we had to hire more support agents and more people to handle that stuff. So a lot of people don't think too far in the future, really, on anything, but definitely on low ticket funnels. And so I'm here to debunk a lot of that myths. Now, if you're at $300,000, $400,000, $500,000 a month, be my guest. I've been there. I've seen the cash leave my bank account. This can definitely work. And I'm not going to go into the rest of this, but you can have OTOs, which is called one-time offers, DOTOs. So it's like, hey, get this one thing here for $297, and then right here you could say, okay, well, how about this thing for $47? And you're just trying to get them to spend as much money in the funnel, what's known as average order value, when they come in, so that you can liquidate as much ad spend. So let's say you're selling something, just to kind of drive this low ticket product home for you. Let's say you're selling something on the front end for $37, but a certain percentage of people will buy the OTO and the DOTO. And so if you sell something for $300 here and 10% of people take it, that would be an extra $30. And then let's say you're selling something for $47 here and 10% people take it, that would be an extra $5. $37. And so you end up, you sold something on the front end for $37, but you get 37, 67, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, $72 in the total average order value. And so it might cost you, let's say, $110 in order to get someone to buy something for $37. You're making back $72 of that. And so you're only out whatever that delta is there, $40-ish, instead of being out a full $110. Okay. And so that's how it makes it way easier to kind of scale. You're getting that cash back. Okay. So you have this full sales funnel. The real big benefit of this is that when they go to the checkout page, if they enter their information, whether they buy or not, I'll keep that up there. Well, no, let me erase that. Whether they buy or not, you're going to get their contact information. So you're going to send them to, from the checkout page, you're going to get your name, email, phone number. So what do? They get the emails that are coming from you. What do we also do? They go to the appointment setters as well. So that's why that email and appointment setter sequence and having that system in there is really, really great to capitalize. And that's why we're building on each other one by one. Okay. Now, the other thing that happens is once they go through the full sales funnel, there's a bunch of really advanced stuff like having implementation calls and onboarding calls, and I'm not going to cover low-ticket products in this video. But eventually what is going to happen is you're going to want all roads to lead either to your video sales letter. Well, let's actually just put digital product. I'll just put product. So inside the product, you're going to want the roads to eventually lead back to your video sales letter or back to your calendar page. Okay, that is how a low ticket product works. Is if you get them in and they're buying and they're consuming it, you don't want to just make the whatever I talked about earlier, the $76 that you're made from them. You want them to eventually buy your higher ticket products and services. And so inside of there, in the videos, in the sidebar, in the welcome email, in the links below the videos, in the PDF, wherever else it is, sprinkled through in hyperlinks, you're sending them to the video sales letter on the calendar page because you want them to eventually book a call to speak with you. And that's why, just like the lead magnet, you want your videos, your low ticket product to be like one small portion or something that like is part of what you offer a full service for, right? So some could even argue that I could make this video a product for $10. I bet you if people knew what was inside of this, they'd probably pay $10 for it. Well, I guess that's an assumption. I would hope they would pay $10 for it. And so I could say, hey, I'm going to put this in low ticket products, and then in this video, I've already made multiple calls to action, book a call to speak with us. And so that way, eventually the right people are going to go down and book a call to speak with us. Same thing as I have had free stuff that I just turn into a low ticket product, because your free stuff should be so valuable that people would pay for it. So if it really is, then people will pay for it, and you can put it inside the low ticket product. Okay. So same thing, you're eventually driving people to either the video sales or to the calendar page, which is why we created those low ticket products to begin with. Okay. Now I'm going to get into traffic here. But before I do, there's definitely additional variations you can have here, but the low ticket products, I've had clients of mine that are doing $6-7 million a month from a low ticket product. Okay. So it'll take you to the freaking moon. But it's definitely complex, and I already covered all that. So like this is easily, I just got you from 0 to $70 million a year with this right here. Anything outside of this, I think, is unnecessary. Now, there are a bunch of other different funnels inside of here, and I'm just going to talk about them and cover them really quickly. So there is the webinar funnel. I am actually not opposed to the webinar funnel. If anything, webinar funnel is like literally the exact same thing as a video sales letter funnel. It's just a little bit longer. So once again, people are trying to show you, oh, don't do video sales letters, do webinars. It's all the same thing. It's human psychology. The webinar just like forces somebody to watch it on that video there. And so you could run the math and see if you actually get higher conversion rates using that or not. We've noticed that we don't, but you can see how that works. The reason I don't like the webinar funnel is it kind of like a webinar is typically 2 hours long to 3 hours long. I've done webinars. I've made hundreds of thousands of dollars from like live webinars I've done. And I've done an in-person live event where I made over $1.4 million in 60 minutes. So like I can build them out, but it's super advanced. You have to get it right. And in a I don't think people realize like there are hundreds of slides that would go into a 2-hour webinar. And so if you're just starting out, you just don't have the skill to be able to go straight to a webinar. The other one is going to be a DM funnel, right? A lot of people, DM ads or short form ads or whatever else it is, where you're saying, hey, if you want this thing, DM me this word and I can get on a call to speak with you. That also definitely works. The problem, in my opinion, with that is that you end up relying way too much on appointment setters. That usually almost always breaks that like I can't tell you how many clients come to us at $200,000 a month, $100,000 a month with 12 appointment setters trying to manage their DMs, and it's too confusing. They don't have a CRM, et cetera, et cetera. So it gets a little confusing, and people that book a call, they're not really pre-sold, they're not really warmed up, and yeah. So DM ads definitely work. We've done it before. You can make a lot of money from it. There's no doubt about it, but it's not the most scalable version of ads, in my opinion. And there's dozens of different variations that people will tell you that are inside of here, but this pretty much covers, I think, the vast majority of it. Now, let's end this with some traffic, right? The main thing you guys love, other than like new shiny objects, is traffic. So let me actually do a little bit of changing here. Let's go into traffic. So at this point, it doesn't really matter. And the reason why we cover traffic last is because if you do everything up until here correctly, like I've told you, it doesn't matter what traffic source you get. People always tell me, is Facebook ads better than YouTube ads? Should I do organic? Should I do paid? It doesn't matter. It's a fugazi. It's a fuguzi. It all works perfectly fine. The problem is not the traffic. The problem is the funnel, the sales, the simple selling system you're using to acquire clients. But at this point, let's just break down some traffic sources, okay? So we'll start with the one we're on right now. Let's say YouTube, okay? So YouTube organic. Guess what? In this video, I could send people to, actually, I do have a low ticket product, Scaling School. I could send people to our low ticket products. I could also say, hey, do you want to get access to this whole snapshot? Go to this lead magnet below. I could also say, hey, do you want us to do this entire thing for you? Go down to our video sales letter below that, right? So YouTube works perfectly fine for that. The other thing would be Instagram, right? Another great traffic source, Instagram. I don't really know how to put Instagram as a thing here. Maybe I'll draw a camera. So Instagram is the exact same thing. I could put a link in my bio that goes to the low ticket product. I could put a link in my bio that goes to a lead mag. I could put a link in my bio that goes to an opt-in page. In my stories, I could do a combination of all three of these things. It doesn't really matter. And then same thing with ads, whether it's on YouTube or it's on whatever other platform there is. I guess Facebook or LinkedIn or anywhere else, you can do the exact same thing. You can run it to the low ticket product. You can run it to a lead magnet. You can run it to an opt-in page. It doesn't matter at all. And then there's, of course, all the other socials. I think another really great one is LinkedIn. I'll put that here. Right? I don't know. Maybe I'll draw a professional here. I don't know why this stick figure is professional more than other stick figures, but he is. Just take my word for it. And so you have LinkedIn as well, and LinkedIn, exact same thing. Opt-in page, lead magnet, sales page here. It's all the same. Okay, so that's why it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Now, maybe in a future video I will cover traffic sources more in depth, because like I talked about with the lead magnet, what you say in this top of funnel traffic does matter, but that's why you're actually moving backwards to forwards, because you're saying in this the videos, in the ads or in the YouTube videos, you're saying what you know attracts the people that is going to watch the video sales letter, book, call, and close. Okay, so in your ad, you're actually doing, your ad can also be a little mini video sales letter where you're creating that pain, or you're identifying that pain, you're painting that desire, and you're bridging that gap in between with your solution. Okay, so a really great example of an ad would be one that calls out people and their pain point. So a great example would be like, if we're going back to that, like the men who want to get in shape, it's like, attention professional men over the ages of 25. If you're tired of not being able to see your toes and or picture this, you walk into a bar and everybody once again is staring at you, not because you look good, but because you're overweight. Your shirt's too tight, you can't touch your toes, and there's that beautiful girl at the bar you want to talk to, and you don't even have the guts to, because you know she's going to turn you down as soon as you see her, right? If you did an ad that said that, and then you said, well, guess what? We have this new simple system where you can do all this stuff without all these things you don't want. Click down below to learn more. You can send them direct. All the people that are going to see that, hit that pain, they're going to go to the opt-in page, give you the information, watch the video, go to the pass. Or you could say, hey, I have this 6-pack abs thing that you can get for only $7, and you can go up here and you can get it there, right? So it's the exact same thing. The ad or the YouTube video or Instagram or LinkedIn, almost always, it should be really edging into pain points. What a lot of people do is they try to go straight to an ad that's like, buy from me, I'm the best, I guarantee you results. But the problem with that is that there's more of a percentage of the market that is problem aware, meaning they know they have a problem, than is product aware, meaning they know what your product is. So if you assume everybody knows what your product is, you're only going to be getting like the bottom 1% of the market. But if you go to everybody that has the problem that you're solving, you identify them that way, then this entire thing becomes like a level of awareness where you take them from problem aware to solution aware to product aware to then buying your stuff. Okay. Be sure to check out those additional videos on my channel, like the video sales letter one where I break down our entire video sales letter page, why I have different copy at different places, and also the low ticket one. And if you just want us to build this totally custom, totally done for you, like we've done it for over 2,000 businesses, make sure to go down below and book a call to speak with me, one of my team members. See you guys in the next video.